in between reading and listening to as many stories as she could from traveling merchants and traders, and learning to weave from her mother and helping her mother in the market stall, and sort of sneakily watching her mother when she was meeting with the Jarl and sort of doing her advisory stuff. So yeah, she spent a lot of her childhood sort of being curious and investigating stuff and learning stuff and observing stuff. And the people that we are with, Carmilla, and Yeoman, and Mikkel, those were her friends, and they adventured when they were sort of very small. They went out and slayed a troll. Speaking of friends, on the way back, she would have said to everybody, "It's probably better that I speak to Ursula's parents about what happened, and that we don't right now mention the Valkyrie and the Storm Giant stuff, because not sure how that's going to land." Um, but that was Svenja's childhood, essentially, just sort of super curious, picking up stories, listening, and so forth.
Yeah, we can get into the character discussions about what you guys are going to do now that you're back. But yeah, was there? Yeah, because we do know what most of your childhoods were like. You can feel free to roll another question if you want to answer something else.
Both of those are very interesting.
None of them, those are goblins.
I mean,
Okay, I'll start by answering all three of them because I've not done any of them. Katia spent her childhood traveling, and her childhood friends, or her entire tribe, they're very close knit, like tight. Yes, they hunt mammoths together. You know, you got to be pretty close with someone to have the trust to hunt mammoths together. So yeah, her childhood mostly just consisted of traveling, learning about like how to survive, so how to hunt, how to make mammoth cheese. You know, that was her childhood. Violence and crafts. Yes. Her sexuality, let's just say she likes anyone as long as they prove their strength to her. If I she just needs someone that can handle her. Yeah, a dude who can barely pick up a stick is not gonna handle her. And then biases against. Well, biases for, of course, she loves her tribe, so that's biases for. As for against, nah, she's just chilled. Just people are people. If they're cool, they're cool. If they're not, you crush head against the rock. Yes. Easy. Yeah. I just realized that the question is that the number of the sexuality relationship with sex is 69.
funny number. Well, for Jormund, he is maidenless, as it were. He's I'd say he's biased for any like sort of Jotun race just because of the stories he hears from his father about the frost giant specifically, and probably biased against humans just because, well, probably because he spent most of his life around them and has met more bad humans than bad anything else, but tends to think humans are more unpredictable.
Yeah. How about Kamana?
I guess she does not like giants. For reasons. Well, kinda killed her dad, at least that's what she thinks. So she does not like them. She also don't like, well, not racist, just people that are lazy. That does not, yeah, pull their weight as it is.
So,
Trying to think how many esoteric races would we have seen coming through Brodovik? So, Arlen and lizard folk and things like that.
yeah, I mean, there's a good chance you've seen any of the D&D races before, but yeah, the Howlin would be pretty rare. Yeah, and like you wouldn't orcs and things. You wouldn't be familiar with orcs and goblins so much, or minotaurs. You would not see many of those.
Yeah, so I'd say Svenja has a curiosity and a caution around most, let's say, non-humanoid races, because a lot of her skill at persuading and influencing and entertaining people relies on being able to interpret facial expressions, and cultures and races such as lizard folk, which don't have those, she finds more difficult to deal with. She'll be very curious about them, but she would be more cautious. How's that for an answer?
Yeah, perfect. Gorm, I see that you're here in the chat. Welcome. But are you actually joining us tonight? Okay, cool. Okay, then yeah, sorry for the delay, but yes, Svenja, have you got a recap for us tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Svenja's overall impression of or of the meeting with the Seder was that it was slightly frustrating and confusing. But what happened is we came into the tower and there was a floating crystal ball behind a woman that split into three: the hag, the mother, or the crone, the mother, and the maiden, present, past, and future. And they gave us various answers to our questions. So Jormund is the bearer of ancestral strength, and he needs to prove his valor. He asked a question about the size of Shepherd and thinking about the link between Shepherd and Fenrir. Svenja wanted to know about the Valkyrie and got some answers there. Camilla wanted to know about something on what happened on that day. And there was a mention of a Levier, the harbinger of death, and she was advised to embrace her vampiric nature. Gorm's hands hold the spirit of creation and has Ager's might deep inside him. Um, and he has a choice to make between divine champion versus shipmaker. Uh, it is clear that our fates are in the sky, but we can influence it. Katja, daughter of the mountains, she rumbles with the power of giants, and her destiny is to unite her people with the people of Broderick. There's a couple of other weirdish conversations. Sorry if I missed Mikkel. I don't think I wrote down yours. He's not here. What seems to be clear is that we need to go and look for weapons for Katja and Mikkel in the deep forest and the ice caves, and that the trials of Asgard is very important in terms of us either averting a terrible future or bringing about a better future. And that was kind of the confusion that Svenja has written down. Oh, Mikkel will craft an awesome weapon that will challenge the gods himself. That's what I wrote down. At the end of that conversation, we had a chat with Rost and Sladi. There was apparently a chat after I left in player form with the dodgy guy we found in the chapel. And as I have it, the party was traveling back through the Iron Tree, or had arrived in Broderick and found some of Katja's people in Broderick. So more questions than answers, I think, is the short summary from Svenja's view of the conversation with the seers.
Yeah, that is pretty accurate, I think. I will be there in 1 second. I'm just putting something down, and yeah, then we will jump back in. Before we do get back in, Svenja, I know you dropped out a little bit early. You said that there was something you wanted to talk to the party about. Would you maybe have had that discussion on the way back through?
Yeah, I think just her as we start traveling back, she'd be thinking about the conversation with the Jarl and with their rivals and the sorts of messages that might not be good to go out of Broderick, and would request that the party does not speak publicly of her own beast and of Ursula and the storm giant trapped inside of Ursula, because she's not sure that Broderick is ready to know that yet, and she's definitely sure that she does not want that to get out to Elson's Wolves and other surrounding towns, either because people will want to come and see, or they will want to come and fight it to get themselves to Valhalla. So now's not the time to be honest about everything that happened, is essentially what she's asking everybody to do. Obviously, they can make their own choices, but that's her request to them.
Okay, so then when we rejoin you, as everyone has made their way out on the other side of the tree, you would hear these raised voices, and I mean, we ended the session as Katja had just gone up and spoken to these Goliaths, but rewinding it a little bit, you will notice that there is quite a commotion going on just outside the tree, outside the longhouse, where you can see a gathering of most of the higher ups in the town, and Jarl Niklas seems to be trying to diffuse whatever situation is happening here. But from what you can see, Svenja, your mother, and Jarl Niklas's wife they are standing over there at the well, and the rest of them all look ready to fight at any moment, as there's two Goliaths on either side of the one who's arguing with Jarl Niklas. And you're not sure what the problem is exactly, but tensions definitely seem to be high, and one wrong word could turn this into a battle. So Katya has just walked up and tried to calm the giants, but I don't think very successfully yet. What would you guys like to do as you see this argument breaking?
Yeah, Yorman's just gonna step up and say, I don't think any of us wants a fight, so let's cool it down a bit and see what the problem is, eh? And I'll say it in pretty much both the giant and common.
So you can give me a persuasion check. Um,
Uh, 11.
Can Svenja support that attempt by Yormund by walking up to the Jotun and clasping his arm and greeting if he's willing to return the greeting, the lead guy? Presumably Katya's father. Actually, do we recognize the Jotun, or are they from Katya's tribe?
You definitely know that they're from Katya's tribe. She did start speaking to one of them, so he would turn his attention to you as Yorman starts trying to plead with both of them. He doesn't seem to be making much progress, but I will say, Svenja, you can have advantage on a persuasion check because of Yorman's attempt there, as you try and give a stern handshake. But you will hear Niklas will look at you, Yormund, and give you a nod of like, yes, please, like listen to my friend here. But he also seems to be figuring out what's going on. Anyone who is not actually talking to them, you can give me a perception check.
That's a modified 20. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's that's pretty good.
So Svenja would follow up on that and just sort of turn to her mother and say, "These are friends of ours."
My foundry is just reloading quickly, but that's a nat 20 for a 25. You can check in the D&D Beyond chat thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Katya, you've been trying to figure out what's going on. You're already speaking to this guy, and Svenja comes up and introduces herself. And now suddenly the vibe here seems to be shifting as you see the Goliath looking quite confused, and he says, "Oh, hello, Katya, you, these are the people from before, yes?" And he looks over at all of you, now starting to recognize you. As you notice, all the people from Bradovik seem very confused as to why there are a bunch of Goliaths walking around. They clearly have not gotten the memo.
Yes. She nods.
Well, can you tell your people that we are friends? We have not come here to fight either. We want none of this, but that little idiot tries to kill me with little metal trinket is disrespectful.
Which idiot is he pointing to?
He's pointing. He's pointing at Odir, who. But then you see her kind of sigh as you realize he's not actually pointing at her, but at the well behind her.
Okay.
And the Jarl says, "We understand that there might have been some confusion, but you cannot just come into town and start throwing our people around. This is, you understand how people could see this as a form of aggression. We thought perhaps we were under attack, and
No, it's just greeting, and she'll like, you know, like the frat boy greeting, or like fucking bump chest kind of things, like that kind of vibe. Like she'll greet one of the Goliaths like that.
you'll you'll see Nicholas kind of nod his head. He says, "Well, yes, but that's not exactly what they did, is it?" And the Goliath shrugs. He goes, "I had to teach the little man a lesson. I let him cool off in well."
Oh,
Oh,
oh, which little man?
Who's in the well?
Have we
Let's
fished him
see.
out into well?
If it's who I think it is, just leave him.
You see, the a familiar face, that one of Magnus's crew, but the guy that works at the forge with Mikil. Um, you see Einar down at the bottom of the well. He is hanging from a rope that is. He seems to be in the water, way down, and you just see from the top the reflection of two little eyes looking back up at you. He goes,
Oh,
"Can someone get me out of here, please? It's. I think there's something down here with me."
I'll just call down to the well as I'm like starting to pull the rope back. What have you done to them?
let's
well,
hope he has.
what did they do to my people? They said they were attacked by
Oh, I'm
a
asking.
small metal trinket.
I'm asking the guy in the well.
Yeah, you'll kind of hear silence come back from the well, but as you start pulling the rope, because he's like, "I saw giants. I did what I always do. I don't think
Can
I was
Katya
out of order or anything." And then
can Katya just come and like peer down the well and just like look at him intimidatingly and say, "Well, we are not leaving. So are you sure you want to come out?" Sorry for interrupting.
yeah, he is genuinely considering the same thing. He's like, he does not seem sure, but it is Yormund that's pulling him up at the moment.
Yeah.
You will hear the Goliath overhearing this. He'll sort of say to all of you, but also to you, Svenja, as you're just finishing, like shaking his hand. He says, "We try to trade for some metals, and he gave me cursed metal that is burn my skin. And then he say, 'Oh, you are giant.' I say, 'I'm half giant.' He try push metal against, and he like starts trying to explain this um, this tussle that they seem to have had over the fact that whatever giant slaying ore was used, or whatever kind of
Hmm.
Well, he is certainly idiot if he cannot see that we are giants.
Yeah.
Just you do not ask big people whether they are a giant. They are giant.
So Senya would say in giant to the Jotun or to the Goliath, he's, and she would sort of use a subtle giant phrase that indicates that he might be a little bit simple-minded, and he doesn't have the ability sometimes to think about things in a different way. So kind of apologizing for him, but hopefully in giant, and hopefully not many of the other people around there understand. But she's kind of just keeping it between us. It's quite conspiratorial whisper is the word I'm looking for. And then I guess turn back to the rest of the people and say, we actually, now that the boys have stopped flexing their muscles, probably need to sit down and talk. There is an important alliance that we need to form here, maybe. And sort of pointing to mostly Katya and the rest of the tribes, clearly trying to position Katya as the spokesperson for the Jotun. I don't know if that's actually true, but that's what she's deciding to do.
Well, the Goliath you're talking to will laugh at that and say something in giant to the others, clearly referencing their own village idiot. That they're like, "Oh, we have one of those as well. we understand. But Niklas will agree with you wholeheartedly and just say, yes, please, this has all been a big misunderstanding. I would love to speak with your chieftain. We may perhaps exchange gifts and open up to trading. I heard that you have brought many wonderful wares, and he will nod and say, yes, we have cheese. I tell your friend, but I understand. He is idiot. My bad.
Okay, so Svenja's eyes would just go wide. It's like, ooh, mammoth cheese. Yay. I think she's taken a liking to it the last time around.
Yeah, there's definitely the smell follows them. They've clearly got plenty on. You will also now at this point you'll realize that there are some other Goliaths that you can see wandering through the town, and you can see across, like it's not too far away, but you can see a few little pillars of smoke from fires that are starting. They've clearly made a camp on the outskirts of town. But also, Yormund, you can give me an athletics check to try and pull Einar out of the hole.
19.
Okay, yeah, easy enough, but he will you'll see a very reluctant look on his face as you pull him up closer and closer to Katya.
Yeah, as I pull him up, just like as he gets close enough, just hand on his shoulder, even while he's upside down. Now, have you learned your lesson?
Teach them a lesson when I get our hands on them. It just starts.
Teach us lesson. And she's just gonna look down at him.
Brother,
Would you like head smashed with rock? No. Then shush.
well, that's your lesson.
He just scowls at you, but realizes that he's like not going to pick this fight right now. But you do see a look in his eyes, like he's going to train or prepare to get his revenge for this.
I've just
Yeah, he
created like a villain backstory.
Yeah, Mikkel is not here, unfortunately, but he would probably, you would all probably know that this guy is pretty obsessed with making giant slaying weapons. It's like, I think it's irritated Mikkel for a long time that it's all he ever wants to try and make. Like, if you've got to make horseshoes, he's complaining he wants to make giant slaying horseshoes. It's like, he's a problem. He's
Well, this is going to end badly for someone. But
I mean, fancy
yeah, so
fancy
let me
weapons too
see.
good, but
Yeah, so you see, I'm in a naughty mood tonight. Svenja's in a naughty mood. She's happy to be back home. So she'll sort of step up to him and peer closely and say, 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, mouth, teeth, all here, both hands, all fingers, both feet. My, you got off lightly this time.
Next time will not be so lucky, little man. With little trinket.
Bearing in mind he's a blacksmith, he's probably taller than most of the villagers, but yes, Katya still towers over him.
yeah.
So, all right. I interrupted.
No, sorry.
Just actually, is Katya's father the chieftain, or she's just a run-of-the-mill tribe member?
They're kind of just all family. Not by blood, they're just a big family. So
Yeah.
he's like her
It's
dad, but
also
not actually her dad.
Very Swedish. No one is the
yeah, I
leader.
think it's a communal sort of raise, like everyone raises all the children kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, we need to. Katya, are you the spokesperson for the tribe, or is there someone else that we need to bring here? Is this gentleman here, the tall one that gave Enyar his annual bath earlier than usual?
Sounds like me. Annual bath. Is there a specific like designated person for like a designated spokesperson?
You would know that the people that were training you, there were some people there that are definitely like higher up that would be able to speak to the chieftain directly. But these guys are basically just commoners. They like, I mean, they hunt with you and stuff, but they are no one special. But you would know that there are two people you could speak to. There's Brynhilder, who is that the half Jotun, the archer, the blue skin and the white hair that you met before. But their names may have changed since then. So sorry if I if I gave you names before. But and then there's Hrothgar, who he is like he's like the war chief. He's not the chieftain of the tribe, but he is the one that deals in matters of diplomacy or war.
Oh, Hrothgar. Hrothgar? Hrothgar, right?
Hrothgar, yeah,
Okay.
like High Hrothgar in Skyrim.
I think you must talk to Hrothgar. He is chief of war and also Bergen. Or in Hilder. It's up to you.
The Jarl will respond and say, "I would love to speak with them. Perhaps we could offer them some gifts, and if you, yes, would like to explain all of this, uh, I assume that Katya is. Oh, I assume this one is with you. He doesn't know her name yet, but we'll ask you, Svenja, if this Jotun who you're talking to, like he can tell that you guys clearly know each other, but he doesn't know what's going on, why this whole tribe is here.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Katja, Jarl Nicholas, he's the head of our tribe. And she sort of point vaguely to the others. These are the leaders of the tribe. Katja has joined our our adventuring party, and is an amazingly strong and effective warrior. And yeah, look, I would personally like to put down my pack and um, have some mead or something. So why don't we take the rest of this conversation to and yep, and relax and talk. She's with us. These are her people, and there are very good reasons for us to get to know them better and for them to get to know us better. So she's clearly bargaining for putting her pack down and getting some mead or something. It's spring, so we probably want some ale. Summer. Are we early spring, summerish?
Yeah,
Springish.
late. We're sort of going into mid-spring at this point, but yeah, as you guys have just gotten home from an expedition, it is definitely uh, you definitely need a breather there. But he will, yeah, Niklas will nod and say, "Yes, of course, welcome home. I'm sure there is plenty to eat and drink in the hall at the moment, but maybe if we are to have new guests, maybe tonight we should have a feast, celebrate all of your return, and uh, assuming the chieftain and I can see eye to eye, maybe we can invite some of your people as well. Miss, and he looks at you, Katya, like extending a hand to shake yours, like Svenja just shook the other.
She'll reach her hand out and try and not grip too tightly. Humans are small.
This guy, I will say, is pretty large. I mean, he's actually, in terms of like D&D size, because you are still technically a medium creature, he is almost at your height. He sort of comes up to your shoulder, but when you grab his arm, you will feel that this is not a weak man. Like,
Well, then she'll give him a
he's got
proper
some.
handshake.
Yeah, you'll see
Like
him
a,
look a bit surprised at how much strength you have, but he gives a respectful nod. Like, this guy seems like he could probably go mammoth hunting.
you look like you could hunt mammoths. You should try it sometime. It's good for the muscles. Make
No, I've
grow big.
heard of you.
Yes.
I've heard of you mammoth hunters before. Actually, I would quite enjoy that. I think. Come, let me show you to the hall, and then you can show us, or introduce us to your chieftain a little later. Or what did you say his name was? Hrothgar.
Yes, Frothgar.
Yeah. So Svenja manages to suppress a giggle when he says, see if we can see eye to eye," because she had a mental picture of putting Jarl Nicholas on a table so that he can see eye to eye with Goliath, but making him stand on the table. Anyway.
Actually,
So
I mean, you joke, but that would literally be like part of your role, kind of like your mother's role, would be to like, okay, you're meeting with a giant. Let's make sure the giant has somewhere to sit on the floor, and and Jan Nicholas has a throne that's raised up. Like, there's those kind of blocking decisions are actually
yeah,
quite
it's
meaningful in diplomacy.
important that they somehow, without being obviously positioned, but somehow end up that they are seeing eye to eye without it being obvious that he's sitting on a 2 foot high pedestal.
Yeah, I literally think of it as like blocking a scene like for camera to make sure that you can get everyone in the same shot.
Yeah. So if we're having a feast tonight, that's fantastic. That means we can go and wash and put on clean clothes. And Katya, is there anything we need to do to help your people settle in and prepare for the feast? And is it dangerous to have people have too much ale and let old enmities and things spill over?
No, you
So,
can never have too much to drink. We are big.
just yeah, I'm just worried that things get out of hand. Yeah, and she's sort of gently just hints with her head in the direction of our still wet blacksmith apprentice over there. We'll just keep an eye out.
Dev, can you give me like a random name of one of the Jotun?
Well, one of like the Jotun that you would know, or
Yes.
Hjalmar.
Well, Hjalmar, he gets very sad when he drinks lots, but that shouldn't be dangerous. Just it's a little unsettling.
Okay.
Let me note that you said Hjalmar gets sad when he drinks.
Yes, he's a sad drunk. I was gonna say that he's an angry drunk, but then I was like, It would kind of be more entertaining to have this Goliath that just gets really sad when he's drunk. Just, why can I not hunt more mammoths? There's not enough. Yeah.
Just an alcoholic.
He gets sad that there's not enough mammoths. He gets sad that there's like not enough ale. You know, there's just so much to be sad about. You know, that one time we ran out of cheese.
Definitely a drinking horn half empty kind of guy.
This is why we call him Hjalmar the Depressed. But we see you back there then. We have just set up camp. I will let them know that you are coming. And the guy that you were just speaking to is going to, like, they will all be lowering their weapons, realizing that, oh, okay, we're going to have a party? Oh, all right, fair enough. And they will start heading back towards the camp. As, yeah, anything else? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to pretend that Svenja has all of the smaller kids in the, not all of them, but she's kind of their favorite person, and they probably have gathered around, and so she'll kind of pull them together in a little huddle and kneel at their level and say, "Go and tell all of your parents and friends there's going to be a feast tonight, and the Goliaths are our friends," and sort of just with promises of sweets and entertainment and magic tricks and all sorts of things. So she essentially bribes the kids to be her little messenger troops.
Yeah, and that at this point they're probably quite used to doing, as they all scatter off excitedly into the town to spread the word. We do need to. I do need to actually write these kids. For some reason, I had, like, when you mentioned them in one of your stories, I was like, oh yeah, oh, I wonder whose kids those are, you know. But yeah, they definitely are a few of the children that run off to go and spread the news. And you will see at this point a couple of people have started to gather around, that some of them to see the commotion, but some of them now at the news that you guys have returned, and you can see that some of your parents are coming out to see if you're home.
Yeah, I think we're going to sort of fade to black, but Svenja would step over to Ursula's parents and tell them a variation of a story that Thor came to take Ursula to Valhalla, because they needed her there for some, who knows what the gods are up to, some reason the gods needed her up in Valhalla. So that is why she's no longer with us. But
So you would know that
they confirmed that.
Ursula,
Yep, sorry.
sorry, just because I don't want to just hand wave it completely, but Ursula's mother, you would know, is Nilmir, the the stonemason here, but that is her only family that you know of. If you know, her father was like lost at sea or something when before she was born.
Okay.
So yeah, you're going to go and find Nilmir, as she would definitely be coming out to, as well as part of the crowds, as a few people come past and greet you as they see you arrive.
Yeah. So she will go and have that conversation. What would be appropriate? To talk to her first quietly, and then she can choose to announce or not that Ursula's gone to Valhalla.
Yeah, so she will ask you when you say that she's gone to Valhalla. She'll ask, but What do you mean they've taken her to Valhalla? Is she, what does she sound like? Oh yeah, she's a dwarf.
Um, so the edited version of this, we were camping, and Thor appeared and hurled his hammer at Ursula, and as you can imagine, that sort of hurt her pretty badly, and then said to us that she needs to go to Valhalla, and he mumbled something and took her and stepped back through the portal. Oh, and said something about Asgardian games and all sorts of other stuff. We can talk about more tonight. So we're a little bit unclear about why she had to be going now and taken, but we were not expecting to encounter Thor. So I think I'm going to try and do a deception check on that one because it feels to me like she's trying to lie a little bit.
Yeah, you can give me a deception, as her initial response would be confusion mostly.
11.
So you would see this look of worry come over her as she sort of clutches the Mjolnir necklace around her neck. She just says, Ursula's absence has been gnawing at my heart like a hungry beast. I feared the worst had befallen her, but Thor, the god I've always prayed to for her safety, snatched her away. I mean, why? Unless, and you see, she's like clearly trying to think of reasons that this could have happened. A look of worry just growing on her face.
So Svenja would, I guess, go onto her one knee, so she's sort of closer to her height, and say, look, if you promise me not to share this with anybody else, I need your promise that what I say next you will not share with anybody else. Swear by Mjolnir and by Thor.
She'll give a nod and say, okay, I'm listening.
It appears that there was a spirit of a storm giant that somehow made its way in, and Thor had to banish the storm giant back, and he could not do that without basically fatally injuring Ursula. We don't want to cause panic by the news of the storm giant, but please understand that it was no fault of her own, and she is truly in Valhalla.
You see a look of worry start to turn to anger as you mention the storm giant, and she says, Ragnar, that wretched man and his dealings with devils, did he bring this curse upon our family? Is it his doing that Ursula was taken? And you start seeing this like mad look in her eyes. She starts pacing. You recognize a sort of rage in her behavior.
Wait, what? That wretched man and he's dealing with demons, devils? What are you talking about?
She just like seems completely conflicted, and she doesn't know how to explain it to you either. She just says, and Thor taken, betrayed by Thor, by Ragnar, now fate itself, my daughter, my blood. And she seems like lost in, yeah, she seems to be panicking a little bit, but she looks up at you and she says, I thought you were her friends. You were supposed to keep her safe. I entrusted her to your care, and now she's been taken by Thor. How can you let this happen?
So Svenja would sort of sit back on her heels and look a bit surprised and sort of pause and say, she wanted to go to Valhalla. Don't we all? I and she's like, I know that you are sad that she's not here, and I guess I wasn't expecting that you would be feeling betrayed that Thor personally came to take her to Valhalla instead of, you know, just a Valkyrie or not having her there. I don't think that they, I don't know, maybe he looked surprised about the storm giant or the spirit of this. And it's confusing. We don't quite know how it works, but he looked surprised. I don't think that it was deliberate betrayal. And I guess we just trusted him. Um,
You can give me another persuasion or deception check depending on which way you're trying to lean.
she's
Sounds
she's
more
she's
like persuasion.
she's genuinely reflecting surprise and that's a little bit better. 22. Um, and basically saying that she will talk to it and say, you are right. We should have protected her. You're right.
She'll just be looking into your eyes, trying to gauge. Like, she starts out as angry, but as you speak, it seems to turn sadder as she just says, "You were there for Ursula since childhood, like kin to her. I suppose it should bring some solace knowing she had loyal friends by her side. You,
If yeah, so she'll say to, if you wish, I will come tomorrow and every day after tell you of the stories of the battles that she fought with us. Um,
I, I appreciate your words, but the pain in my heart feels unbearable. Ursula was my everything, my reason for living. I don't know what I will do without her. If only I could have protected her, shielded her from these forces that tore her away from us. I feel I have failed her as a mother, as a protector. Be hard to find any solace in anything right now. But if what you say is true, if Thor came looking for that beast, then all of my prayers have been for nothing. I had asked his forgiveness, but and she like looks quite dejected, but you immediately get the impression she knew what was going on with Ursula and the storm giant, possibly more than even Ursula did.
so so Svenja would just say to her, I beg to speak of you more of this when you have had a chance to think about this. So I so let me see. Yeah, so yes, she suspects there's something more going on, but now might not be the right time to have that conversation.
Yeah, she'll give a sort of silent nod, and um, she'll go try and take this information in on her own.
Did we specifically say that we took some of Ursula's possessions when she was taken? So do we have something that we can give back to her mother saying, here is her staff or something like that?
Yeah, we could say so. I mean, it was kind of a surprise exit, so she might have dropped some things or
Yeah.
add some stuff on the axolotl or something. So yeah, we can say you've got her staff.
Okay. So
She will.
we'll hand over the staff, and she's going to have to go and ask her mother how to. She's clearly screwed up this bearer of bad news thing. Alrighty.
Okay, and yeah, just so. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome, welcome. As we now, yeah, you have spoken with Neilmere. She's going to head back to her house as everyone else seems to be. The Goliaths seem to be heading back towards their camp, and everyone else seems to be filtering into the longhouse.
I've got something for my father.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a sort of come over to say, need a hand.
Ah, you are home. Welcome, welcome. Yes, please. If you could just move those. And you see he's currently stacking crates that he's getting ready to sell things. As I saw, we had some giant folk in the town. Look, I got some mammoth cheese. We will feast well tonight.
Hmm,
Be good to have you home.
had some of that. It wasn't bad. Strong. But, well, speaking of giants, see what happened to Shepard?
He says, What do you mean?" And he looks over and completely drops the whole crate that he's holding. Just did spill out all over the floor. He goes, "My gods, what did you do to him?" He's
You know what? Haven't done a single thing. We went to see some druids at the Seer Tower in the Stone Circle. Not sure what exactly happened, but something about the influence did this.
Oh, I see. That's very strange. You didn't. It wasn't like some kind of giant ritual or something, was it? I mean,
Hmm.
to make it giant. And you see him giving you a look that it's like you've seen him give you that look when if he's trying to suss out whether or not you're lying or something, but he seems to be looking for something in your answer.
Well, honestly, maybe. I'm not sure, but I don't think it was the druids that done it. And I just sort of like stare back at him like, you know what I'm talking about.
You can give me an insight check for this one, but I'll say with advantage.
18.
Okay. Yeah, when you say that, his look turns to worry, and you see he kind of looks a bit nervous as he turns away from you and starts picking up the things that fell. He says, "Oh well, you've got to be careful with deals that you make with giants, but
Hmm.
so long as he's not trying to eat anyone in Broudevik, I'm sure it will be a great boon to have a giant wolf." And he's just, yeah, like with his back turned to you, putting stuff back in the crate.
Hmm. suppose you can speak from experience. I think, well, whatever deal it was, it's your own, but because it involves me, I think I should have some know about it.
He stops, like, as just freezes as he's busy, and just turns his head slightly over his shoulder. Say, what do you mean? Deals that involve you?
Well, I can't imagine it was Mother. And, well, the seers told me something. I don't know who, I don't know what, but I know there was a deal.
He lets out a sigh of like disappointment, but also with that insight, you can tell it's a sort of resigned, like he knew this was coming, and he will sort of give up on putting things back in the crate and stand up as he just gestures for you to come and stand somewhere a little bit quieter, and says to you, my son, there are things that I've kept hidden from you, secrets that I suppose I can not really bear myself alone anymore. I suppose there is no point in it if the seer has already told you. What did she say?
It was complicated. It wasn't really anything she said, but it was what happened.
Well, have you started to, I don't know, experience uh, any of those? I don't know, you haven't been feeling like your wolf does, have you? No sudden growth spurts? He just grimacing a little.
No, I haven't. But, well, voices only while we were at the tower.
Well, it's probably not strange to hear voices at the Sears Tower, but I suppose there's no use hiding it from you anymore. I must tell you, I did it out of misguided ambition. I was seeking riches and influence for our family, but this brought nothing but darkness, and I'm sorry that it falls to you. But I made a pact a long time ago with the Frost Giant that kind of binds you to their service. And I did this without your knowledge or consent, but Yeoman, the power that runs through your veins, the Jotun magic within you, that was a result of my dealing with the giants. I've been doing everything I can to stop them from getting to you ever since.
Hmm.
You should probably tell your mother as well. I'm sure she will be angry, but she knows nothing of this. I would rather share it with both of you. Shall we go home so that I might try? And you see, he's also fishing for like, you're not going to attack me right now, are you? This is
I think we can talk about it another time. For now, we have guests, and I think you should prepare some good wares for them. I'll just give him a light slap on the back and finish moving the crates he wanted.
He stands in a sort of stunned silence for a moment, like he's clearly been hiding that for a long time and was expecting more of a reaction, but he just nods and says, "All right, yes, yes, another time then," and he'll go back to fixing those things up and preparing some things for the Giants. But definitely, you can see his mood has shifted completely. He's very nervous about that conversation.
So yeah, I'm just gonna finish up doing work and then I'll eventually go to the longhouse as well.
He will, before you leave, he'll just say, "Yeoman, just promise me that you won't do anything about this until we have spoken. I just wish for us to face this together as a family, find a way to overcome the shadows that loom over our lives."
Yeah, I think that'll work. Sounds good.
It just gives you a nod of understanding, and yeah, are you heading back to the long?
Yep.
Okay, well, we're gonna just pop over there anyway. But yeah, I haven't put. Are you guys on the map still from the last?
Yep.
I see Geomant. No, I don't see us. Let me just try and see. Nope.
I think everyone else might have stepped through the tree. Yeoman wasn't here that time.
I don't think I'm on the map.
What? No, Yeoman's the only one there. So
Okay.
okay, I think yeah. So we can assume that Gorm has gone inside and started to help with the feast preparations, and that is where he will be during this session. Well, at least for now. But what are the rest of you doing? As you've seen Svenja went to go and speak with Neilmere, and Yormund went off to the market, but the rest of you were still outside the hall, and Jan Niklas was leading Katja into the longhouse.
Yeah, so when Svenja gets back to the party, she's going to roll her eyes, and time someone dies, someone else is going to tell their parents. Like, why the fuck is this always me? Okay, so I'm just checking timelines here. The entire cider beast thing happened since our last visit to town. So she will make her way over to her mother and sort of give her a hug and say, we probably need a long talk, but for now, I'm glad to see you.
Glad to see you as well, Svenja. Happy to see you made it home safe. Did you have, or did you all make it through the tower okay?
Hmm. Yes. More questions. We came out with more questions than. Oh, did you know that Oder was the second fastest to have ever completed that? I didn't even know that she went there. Did you go through there by any chance? So she's like, just make idle chit chat about the stuff they'd seen and the portals and the monsters coming in from the other planes and meeting with the druids, and so just talking about the experience without going into any sort of serious stuff.
Yeah, she'll sort of likewise, she'll chat about her experiences there and explain that she has ascended the tower herself, as have most of the people in Broudevik, and that Oder is actually a much bigger deal than she likes to let on. That she was quite the famous shield maiden back in her day.
So what does Sasaki Sama mean? She will ask her that thing that was written on the Oda's name.
Sorry, say again. What does what mean?
If I've got it right, I've got a note here that says Sasaki Sama was written on stick with, or maybe it was different.
That she wouldn't be familiar with. That would be the name of the fastest. She would say, oh, actually, give me a history check. More for her history though, but
let's see if her history is as good as mine. 17.
she will say that she is not familiar. She never met them personally, but she heard that it was a traveler that came from far south, and apparently was quite a powerful figure that came to speak with the seer, and they say that they did it in so fast that it was almost impossible. They think that they could manipulate time. Some people think it may have been Loki themselves, but everyone's got a theory. She doesn't actually know for sure. But there are stories like theorizing rather than actual like tales.
Okay, so some sort of time shifting or servant of Loki. Yes, I'm cautious about not wanting to. But if the opportunity presents herself, Svenja would lead into the conversation the trapped Valkyrie inside her. But I don't know if this is the right time to play that. If there's other stuff we rather want to do in session, and we can write an out of session story.
That's definitely something we must do in session. But yeah, I think at this point, with all the things going on in the hall and all the Goliaths and that, she would say rather to leave that until you are at home and can have a more private conversation, as things are starting to become quite bustling here, and I want to see what the other players have got.
Yeah, no, so I think Svenja wouldn't mention it to her. She would sort of just not talk about it at all until the moment arises, keeping it at a light rate. Talk about stories and what happened while we were gone, and merchants, and just hey, how's it been going? What's happening in your life? Kind of level of conversation.
Yeah, absolutely, and that it's like you are both fully aware that she didn't finish telling you the whole story before, so that it's definitely sitting in the back of her mind as well. But there is that sort of unspoken agreement that we'll get to that again later. Let's just Cool. So what about the others, Kamala? What are you up to?
Oh, yes. I'd be going up to my mother and asking, "So, mother, anything you keep secret?"
There's always secrets, Pamela. Not too many from you, though. How did it go? Did you manage to find who was poisoning the rivers?
We did manage to find them, and I think we will not see them again, as someone decided to obliterate the place they were staying.
Ah, brilliant. Well done. Was that someone you?
Nah, can't take all the glory. Just glancing towards Svenja.
Oh, well, good. As long as you took care of them, who was doing it? Was it someone we knew?
Not unless you know some fish people.
Fish people? Oh, were the old sailors right? Was it some... I mean, I assume you didn't fight the Kraken, so they can't have been that right.
Oh, those
Sure.
tentacles. Nah. There wasn't really anything special.
Yeah, she'll ask you some of the details, but yeah, she was the one who put out the bounty, so you guys will at this point have completed that quest, and she will give you the reward, which I'll have to double check. But yeah, she would thank you profusely for that and congratulate you on completing it. But is that all you wanted to talk to her about there as she starts getting the reward ready?
Yes.
Either someone has the loudest heartbeat on the planet, or is there a fan or something
I'm
going?
pretty sure that's the washing machine by my dad's desk.
That's what it is. I thought it was the like combat clock timer thing, and then I was like, wait, hold on, we're not in.
It's my pet dragon.
Okay, I can't find this thing. It's here somewhere. Oh, and Mikil, you missed the first part there, but when you guys arrive, uh, the other guy that works in the blacksmith with you he had been thrown down a well by the Goliaths, and Yormund has just helped him out there, but he's sopping wet and is probably sulking as he makes his way back towards the blacksmith, but apparently tried to sell them some cursed metal that was like made to hurt giants, as you know he is quite obsessed with making giant slaying weapons, and it nearly started a whole war between Bradovich and the Goliaths. So that was diffused, but I don't know if that has any bearing on what you would like to do.
Serves him right. Well, I mean, the only thing I could think of is like bragging to my dad about this awesome fucking shield that we made as a party. Need to get a name.
Yeah, that, which I still haven't finished making the item. Sorry, it's been a week, but yeah, he would be very impressed with that. He'd like be a little bit, probably even a little bit jealous, like how the fuck you made that in a day? Like what the hell? But yeah, he's definitely very impressed.
Nice.
and it was 250 gold for killing the Kraken priest. Not much, but that's what Kamila's mother would be. She put a 250 gold in a pouch on your table there. And your fame increases. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, Mikhail, is there, as you sort of showing off the shield to your father, was there anything else you wanted to do there, or anything specific you want to do as you've just gotten back to Browdvik and everyone seems to be readying to either go and see the Goliaths or have a big feast tonight?
I'm gonna have a pint. And then I'll join the feast. If other party members are attending it.
Yeah, is everyone grabbing a drink there? Much well deserved as you've finally made your way home.
Katya will grab 3.
Yeoman will also have a drink.
2.
Sorry, I just realized that the map works again because I had put the axe on the table when I made the map because of Ursula, and then when she left, I was like, "Oh, damn it! Now there's going to be this big ass axe on the table." But Katya just sat down next to it, and it's like, "Oh, yeah, it's Katya's axe."
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's Katya's tiny axe. She left the big one outside.
Use your indoor
Well-
axe.
Yeah, this is my Indo axe. It's essentially like a hand axe for a giant. You
Yes.
know,
It's more like
it's a great axe for humans. It's a great axe for Goliaths. It's a hand axe. You know, just depends on your perspective.
It's like a ceremonial dagger. Yeah, so I was
Also, to be
thinking,
fair, by this scale, like that is a pretty massive axe that's sitting there. I think that may be the only weapon in the room that's disgusting.
Fair.
so I think I was thinking about what is different for Svenja since there and bragging about their exploits and sort of competing with Magnus and those sort of my muscles are bigger than yours, flexing kind of competition. And I think she's sitting with a lot more poise and confidence than the last time. So the people that would observe her would notice that some of the I guess the remnants of teenageriness has disappeared. She's looking at the world much more seriously and much more critically, and also with much more joy, because what she has learned in the meantime about Asgard and everything that they see in the visions of Valhalla and so forth is really pushing her away from the fairy tales of childhood, as it were, that closer into the stories of reality. So she might not be as braggy and show off boisterous. That makes sense.
I will actually give you inspiration for saying so because that is yeah, you are quite literally at that point in your life where now, Gorm's ship is nearly ready. There is this air of like everyone here seems to know your name, that everyone in town knows who you guys are. Okay, I mean, Katya, you're new, but everyone else recognizes that like people are happy that you guys are home, and they know that you are the next generation of warriors, and they're not even treating you guys as much like children as they did before. You're now probably old enough to get your arm rings and go out on real raids. But yeah, that your town is definitely getting that impression from you as well.
Oh, yes, that would be a story we could tell Katya about arm rings, and just like her rite of passage was capturing the giant, um, ours is getting arm rings and being allowed to go onto real raids, which Katya may or may not find weird because it seems that Goliath are just expected to hunt mammoths from as soon as they can hold an axe and not pee in their pants.
Kind of.
Let me just switch the dragon heartbeat off for you.
Yeah,
Oh.
some of your tribe members wear loincloths, so peeing their pants isn't a problem.
Yeah, she was gonna be like, you need armor. Why not just use your skin? He's hard like rock. And she'll like punch her skin to show that it is hard like rock. She literally has like a racial feature called like stone skin. The stone's endurance, yes. Your skin not like this?
Yeah, no. Categorically, no.
That's horrible. You're tiny and squishy. Oh my goodness. How are you not dead?
So Sonia sort of just clink her mug against it, saying, "I'm smart and fast. You remember on the river when I was doing and stuff? You rely on not getting hurt when you get hit. I rely on not getting hit at all."
That makes sense.
Speaking of which, how scarred is Svenja looking right now? Because I mean, she's definitely taken some battle damage, and had you had amassed quite a few scars there. But with the Valkyrie abilities, have those healed, or how's Svenja looking at?
I haven't quite kept score, but I think, so if we talk about major scarring, she's gone out down to 0 hit points 4 or 5 times since he's done the Valkyrie channeling 2 or 3 times. So there's probably some pretty nasty scarring left still.
Well, remember, as we discussed, we said that Valkyrie sort of regeneration can actually knit those scars back together.
Yeah. Okay, so if it's not a
it's up to you, sort of
one-on-one,
how much of that it has.
so yeah, I think.
Sorry,
I
say
mean, if
again.
it's not a one-in-one kind of thing, she's probably not looking scarred around. Yeah, face and stuff. What would she do? Yeah, I think she would have
So
made
more,
the scarring go away. Hmm?
okay, yeah. So to the rest of the party, it's like when you hear Svenja saying how it's better to just not get hit at all. You do also notice that you've seen Svenja get hit plenty, but all of those wounds seem like she got some better healing potions or something. There's
Yeah, I can see where you're going with this. And it's like it's better to not get hit in snort in yeah, like that's true.
everyone else is having flashbacks of you getting tossed around the battlefield. It's like, actually, how don't you have more broken bones and things? Oh well, that seems like it tracks. But yeah, I don't know
It's,
how
it's
the
like
rest of you
shepherds,
guys are
lots of
looking either.
exercise and good food.
How are the rest of us in terms of scarring?
Yeah, we actually, I don't know if it's come up for you yet, but we do actually have a system in game that if you take massive damage or like you drop to 0 hit points, you roll on a table to see like Gorm's missing an eye. Shepherd's missing an eye and a leg, but he's definitely looking most like a pirate. But yeah,
Yep,
everyone,
Katya's.
it's up to you as well. How battle hardened you look, because you all have been through some shit by now.
She looks battle hardened, but like she's good at battle and doesn't get hurt much.
See,
So she has some like minor, like occasional scars on her arms and stuff.
Just calluses on the hands from swinging the axe.
Exactly.
from
But
what
she's good enough to not get hit. It's a Giga Gaming move. You just. Well, actually, no, not that's wrong. She's good enough to just not care about getting hit. Yes. Yeah.
Stones get yeah.
Yes. Pretty much. Uh,
Yeah, Yeoman doesn't have a lot of scars, but rather a lot of bruises.
he's like
So-
plum.
Well, that's why I wear armor. Otherwise, I'd have a lot more cuts.
Are there like bruises sticking out?
Uh,
Visible ones.
maybe on the face while he has his helmet off, but can't really see anywhere else.
Are you still in the plate armor? Are you keeping?
Oh, I think at some point he would have swapped back to his half plate.
I mean, you could have. I'm just asking because that it's a very different image. Yeah, plate armor is not so normal to see around here. But so yeah, you're switching back to half
Yeah.
plate then. Okay, cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I think actually Svenja would probably have dropped her armor off for a nice, fairly fancy dress of some sorts, whatever is going for dinner. Is it typical for Vikings to wear their armor to dinner? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean it depends. If they've just come back from a hunt or something, there's a good chance they just wander in all dirty and looking rough.
Ah,
But there is a sense of like the people that live here. You know, if you would just be wearing more normal clothing, like the Jarl's wife, you've never seen wear armor. There's actually a lot of the people here you've never seen wear armor because they're just at home.
Yeah, no, I think that would definitely be for the diplomat in training thing is when you are going to speak or have all eyes on you to look the part. So what she's looking the part of is a trusted advisor tonight. So yes, thanks Yeoman for that. Oh, sorry, Gorm for the note of the letter on I about Klostovic. And maybe that's part of the. So there's the conversation with the war chief of the Goliaths, and also then the important part about Flostovic being behind the poisoning. What else do we want to share at this point? Just, it sounds like going to the Tower of the Seder is a rite of passage that everybody does than a highly unusual thing. So the headlines news, evening news headlines would be something that she would share about what have we been up to. But the chat with the Goliath chief is, I guess, part of the reason for having the feast.
Yeah, so we haven't quite gotten to the feast yet. I know the map is all populated, but it is still sort of mid-afternoon, and they would be now preparing to have a big feast here tonight. But whether or not these diplomatic relations with the Goliaths go down well will be up to what happens next, as the Jarl he's also preparing to go and speak with the chieftain. He's trying to figure out what kind of gifts he might be able to present, and he will be asking you, Katya, for advice on that. If there is anything, he would ask, is there something that perhaps your chieftain would like that we could offer to show that we do not mean any harm? We would like to be allies if we can.
Vodka. As Goliaths, we love our vodka. We don't find it very often. When we do, we are very happy. If you know what I mean.
He nods and he's like, oh, now that is something I can do. Uh, Thank you. I will go and see what we have in the stores. And he will head off for a while as you guys then have the rest of these conversations. But yeah, to share the story and stuff of your travels, you could do during the feast when everyone's there. I'm sure Svenja likes an audience. But yeah, there's when you are ready to head out, you can just let Jarl Nicholas know, and can go and head down to the Goliath camp. But right now, everyone seems to just be taking a moment to welcome you home, and for you guys to just actually take a breather.
Do Goliaths wear jewelry or ornament like that? As and okay, so where I'm going to this is, would the Vikings have a almost like a freedom of the town or an honorary arm ring or something like that that would be offered as a diplomatic gift? That's slightly more lasting than vodka plus hangover.
I mean, there could be. What do you have in mind? I guess you could now sort of fashion something. There isn't something in particular. Giants are typically enemies, like of the gods, even so. It's not normal to welcome a giant into your home, so there isn't anything set up for that. But these this tribe is also not someone that the town has interacted with before, and Jan Nicholas is trying to do something like that. He would like that idea.
Mm. So, I mean, if other dignitaries from other towns come and visit, what we have diplomatic relations with would be, I guess, the feast plus some rituals and conversations and things like that. And maybe it's just as simple as that, or maybe there is an exchange of, I'm thinking ceremonial daggers, axes, necklaces of runes, or something like that.
Yeah, all of the above. I think you. Yeah, I mean, all of those things. It would depend on who the relation is with, and sometimes it might just be a bottle of booze, but that would usually be for like someone who's already an ally. You know, like you bring some wine from your homeland or to exchange for the mead from this place, like something like that. But um,
Yeah, I also don't think that just because we like Katya and the visions we had and the stories from the Oracle have said that we have to, that does not necessarily mean that maybe Jarl Nicholas believes us immediately because he has a high level of trust in the party, but the rest of there might be a earn trust, build trust. So this might be the start of a beautiful friendship as opposed to let's seal it with wedding rings.
yeah, I mean, there are plenty of sort of giant sympathizers in Bradovik. So you get the impression that he's like excited to make an ally out of these Goliaths, but he doesn't seem to be thinking of it as like he's going to invite them to live here or something. He's like, oh, it's a nomadic tribe of Goliaths. They hunt mammoths. These could be cool friends to have, but also could be very dangerous enemies. So he'd rather nip that in the bud. But he will say that a weapon sounds like a very good idea. He would ask you, Katya, are there any particular, I don't know, preferences that your chieftain might have? We have got, I've got some old weapons that have been used in great battles of Bradovik. I'm sure it would show our commitment to this cause.
Kind of want to say that Katya would recommend an axe because, like, the current one has been stolen, so he's probably missing like a good axe. But I don't know if that's the case. Does he like axes?
Yeah, that is literally like his axe is the one that's missing. That
Nice. Okay, and then
yeah,
I
you're right.
remembered right. Okay.
Yeah, but
Us Goliaths, we like big axes. Chieftain, his axe is gone. He would really appreciate a new axe.
oh well, that settles it then. I've been known to use an axe myself. I'm sure the axe of a jarl will be a suitable gift, at least, if not a replacement. Thank you. I will go and get it, and he will go and get his old axe that he used coming up and becoming the Jarl of Bradvik, which would be quite a significant item, definitely.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you see, he uses the sword now, but he used to use the great axe.
Hmm. That's interesting.
So yeah, he would go and fetch that, and when he does, Katya, you would definitely notice it, and it is like ornately engraved. That is definitely a symbol of prowess and leadership. That honestly, you probably wouldn't mind swinging around yourself, but yeah, your chieftain would probably like it.
She'll give him a nod of respect with it if he sees her.
Yeah, Nicholas would also he would also say, Mikhail, you must join us. Your father crafted this. It is only right to have some representation of your family. Perhaps he will have questions, and your father's very busy at the moment, do you understand?
Very well. And I'll walk over and take a seat. Boys.
Oh, sorry, were you not actually here yet?
Is it just at our table? In that case, I'm already seated there.
Yeah, he's just chatting with you here. He seems like eager to go once you've got everything, and he's been kind of grabbing these things while you guys are having your drinks. But it's up to you when you want to actually head out. It is about 3:30 in the afternoon, so still got time as they Gorm is out there preparing the feast with some of the other cooks.
Do we want to go right now, or should we wait a bit?
Yeah, I think now's good. So, I mean, if we want to start the feast soon, then let's have the formalities, conversations, and stuff out of the way, and then we can feast.
That sounds like a good idea. Right. I'll stand up. Lead the way, Jan Nicholas.
He will lead you guys across town where they've got their camp set up. So we'll move back to the area map. But yeah, he will once they get once you start getting closer, he will ask Katya to take the lead and to make the right introduction. Oh, wrong area map. Oh, well, actually, no, this is right. Yeah, so is there, just before we go off, was there anyone else wanted to do before we actually go to the Goliath camp, everyone seems to be making their way out of the hall and across town?
Yep, entirely happy to walk along.
To the camp we go.
Okay. As you guys make your way to the outskirts of town, you will notice these massive tents that are set up and like carts, all kinds of things. You can see that the giant that they caught before is tied to a tree nearby, and all of the ogres that they were carrying with them are all sort of scattered around him, almost like they've tied up their horses there, kind of thing. But they are all the ogres are sitting there chained with the giant, and the Goliaths are scattered about. They all seem to have, yeah, they seem to just be enjoying the camping lifestyle. As you approach, you will notice that there is one much bigger tent that is quite clearly the chieftain's tent. And I will say that I didn't have time to actually finish the map for that one. So we might have to theatre of the mind that part. But first of all, you will arrive at the Goliath, and you'll see a couple of Goliaths standing around. Katya, you would notice that, what's her name? One of the Goliaths I mentioned earlier is standing around a fire with, you would know everyone here, but you would see the people that you immediately recognize that are probably a good idea to talk to are standing at around a campfire, which you should be able to see once you're on the map.
So I want to, Svenja will sort of hang back a little bit, kind of just walking slightly behind the Jarl in the traditional mother, but she will be very definitely looking out for signs.
So you broke up there for me. Looking for signs of?
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. I okay. I heard you there, Yorman. So I'm assuming we just lost Svenja.
Oh no.
Oh,
I
there we
think
go.
so.
I was just
Okay.
making sure it wasn't me. If I do disappear, the internet here seems to go down every now and then, but it usually comes back after like 5 minutes. So,
No,
but yeah,
you're
so,
definitely clear on our side. So it's me that's fading out, is it?
yeah, but you're back now. So you are looking for signs of?
So just as we enter the camp, if the reactions, if there's anything that points towards our interference in Katya's ritual causing problems, sort of more unusual behavior than you'd expect when strange people enter the camp. So is she kind of picking up vibes in the crowd, basically?
You can give an insight check, but you would notice a couple of them are greeting Katya as you arrive. It's not. It's definitely not immediately aggressive.
Not great.
What did you roll it? A 10. Yeah.
That's
So
10.
it's hard to tell as they all are like big mammoth hunting Goliaths. So they already look like they might be a little bit. It's hard to tell these looming, great big creatures that they might want to smash things constantly. But Katya, everyone is greeting you happily and warmly, and they seem very happy to see you. They also all seem to recognize the people that you're with from the encounter before. And as far as they're concerned, you guys invited them to come over here, so they they have no issues with you. They seem quite happy to be here and happy to see you as you arrive. Not really taking too much notice of Jan Nicholas, who is walking with you, even though he's kind of walking as though you're his entourage that he's leading in.
Sorry. Katya will she'll greet everyone happily as well, and like the people she's a bit closer with, how the journey was, and whether there's been good trade and stuff. Yeah, essentially, I think the entourage probably continues without her. She'll probably take her time going to at least like greeting everyone. Maybe having like a little bit of small talk with some.
So Svenja would be tugging at her, like, Katya, come on, we need you.
Well, I mean, what do you want to say? That's sort of kind of the reason this map is here. Like, you might not know where the chief is necessarily. The entourage doesn't really have anywhere to go until you lead them there. So,
Oh.
are you introducing anyone to your friends, or like you can actually see the people around on the map are people that you would know, so you can. I mean, you can walk around. Sorry, is everyone on the map?
I'm on the map.
Yep.
Is it working? Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Yeah, Katya will just kind of walk around, unsure of why there are people following her. She's not the brightest. She'll just come and talk in giant with this dude over here. Who doesn't appear to have a name. Um,
Yeah, of course. You picked the only like random. Yeah, you go and speak to him, and he goes, "Ah, Katya," and you're like, "Oh, hey, you've never seen this guy before in your life." You're like, "Oh, hey, okay."
It's nice to see you. Okay, bye.
It's me, Takrad. You don't remember? Okay.
My
See how it
memory
is.
is my memory is I grow old, as
Yeah,
the
don't worry.
humans say.
I know how it is. His name is literally Sluggish Takrad. Like, it takes me a while to get to things as well.
Yes, yes. Um,
Do I have to make an athletics check to see if I can jump high enough to smack Katya on the back of her head? Come on, take us to the chieftain. The axe. Remember
she's.
our chieftain, your chieftain.
I must go. It's gonna wander this way, and hope this is the right way. If it's not, yeah.
Yeah, you are. You're heading towards the sort of the big tent, but you will see sitting around the fire a couple of people that they would definitely know where the chieftain is. These are the people that you are closest to. Brynhilde would have been one of the people that was helping with your training. Like, she is, they call her the daughter of Emir, but yeah, she's like one of the chieftain's right hand men, kind of thing.
She'll come and sit on the logs and start talking to them. Look, they are a very social tribe, okay? You just gotta let Katya do her thing, okay? Ah,
They'll all be very happy
Brynhilde.
to see you sitting eating mammoth cheese as they'll, oh, Katya, welcome back.
Oh,
Here,
thank you.
come.
And then she'll come sit and eat mammoth cheese as well, and she'll welcome her friends to do so as well.
Hey, your puny friends are welcome. Come, please, take a seat. Have some cheese. How did your trip go? You seem to have come back. And she looks around with, it's not bad. She looks at Shepard and she goes, but for a giant beast, you've got to do a little better than that, Katya.
He grew big. Is weird. He was in a book. Is a book. What's his name? Is
Fafnir.
something with a F. Big wolf in book.
Not quite.
Fenrir.
Yes, Fenrir. Yes. I was very sad because on our journey, all I could find were tiny X's. Why does nobody carry big X? Like, he's. Ugh. She just looks very agitated over the fact that, like, people are too small to carry proper sized axes.
Well, we actually we tried to speak to the blacksmith here in Brodvik. He say he can make us some decent weapons, but then his little apprentice, he starts trying to make it giant slaying this and that, and uh, we did not want to get involved. Came back here. I see it all work out. You not kill the jarl, so this is good. Hello, and the jarl just comes in and he's standing. He's not quite taking a seat as he's expecting to keep on moving, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be in too much of a rush. Are the rest of you joining them as well, or are you guys in a rush?
Not, no, not in a rush, just listening in.
They will offer hunks of some of the most pungent cheese you've ever smelled in your life to each of you if you want, and you will see that they've got a bottle of that fermented mammoth milk that they are passing around between them.
Yes, that apprentice. He seems odd. I do not like. We should put him in Veligan. If he talks more about giant thing. He's not very welcoming.
I know, don't think we really want to get him making our axes. Maybe it is better to find better blacksmiths elsewhere, but yeah, the rest of the town seems okay.
With a history check of 13, can Svenja remember the Goliath said about their own village idiot?
Yeah, sorry, can remember what about him?
So the giant said, "Oh, it's like our own." Maybe did
yeah.
Svenja remember that?
Yes, and you would remember that he called him Thorvald.
So she would just sort of say, he's like Thorvald.
You're sitting next to Thorvald.
No.
What do you mean, like Thorvald? Thorvald is good with axes.
No, man.
Thorvald is good with
Idiot.
axes.
Except Thorvald is the village idiot.
You're sitting next to him.
What
Okay.
this word mean? He like leans down to you. An idiot. What
No,
this mean?
He's not going to say idiot. He's going to say he's like Thorvald. He struggles with
I
new
thought you were
idiots.
saying out loud, Thorvald, you know, the village idiot.
No. Okay. Good with axes, not good with people.
Ah, Lecatio. Wait, is that Vekatia village idiot? That's not very nice.
Okay, I think Svenja is just going to take a large swig of the fermented milk and take a bite of the cheese and see if she doesn't splutter. Foot in mouth disease there.
Yeah, you see this sort of blank stare coming from Thorvald next to you, who doesn't even seem to understand what you're talking about, but the others will give a laugh and
What you
yeah,
will just
you'll
say
see
to
that-
him in Giant. She just means you're very adept with axes. Yes. I prefer talking in my shitty Russian accent though, so I'm not gonna speak in Giant often.
Yeah, I
You
feel
get
like I'm gonna keep Giant in the Russian accent because I was like, how would I make like a stupid but posh voice? Oh no, that's about to start getting. It's like sudden Cockney
like Prince
accents.
Harry.
Honestly, I might go with that as well. It was
So-
entertaining at the start, but I'm having fun with my accent.
Yes.
But we know now. We know how eloquent you sound in.
Yes. Now you're aware of how, like, she actually does know how to speak, but in giant.
So
Yeah, also that way we can have accents as shorthand for these languages, because like Dwarvenish, Scottish, uh, but we'll establish those as we go. And yeah, they'll all seem quite friendly. These guys actually, none of them seem offended or anything, as they will ask. Brynhilde will ask, "So you've brought the Jarl? Are you coming to see the chieftain?" I don't think he's too keen on going to go into town after what happened with the blacksmith.
Mm. Yes, he brings a peace offering.
Why he is going to offer peace? I thought they bring gifts.
I do not
Speaking
know.
giant, she
It's
goes, "Oh yes."
Other kind of peace.
and giant she also say, no, right? It must be human thing. Peace being gift is
it's a gift.
interesting. Is gift of nature.
No, Hjalmar go to other town. He say all he bring back, all I give him is shit. I did not think this was all towns. Mordia is really going to the dogs, you know.
She knows. But he also have good gift. So it's he brings very nice axe. For
These
He's
people
big.
really deserve
And
Fimbulwinter, you know. But welcome. She says that to you in Giant, just as a like offhand comment that is quite a sentiment you hear often amongst the tribe of like, oh, well, when Fimbulwinter comes, we won't have to worry about this anymore. But those of you who speak Giant, like
Which
you
is like
overhear her
everyone.
going, yeah, you would all hear her just being like, oh well, don't worry, they'll all die in Fimbulwinter.
Katya doesn't
Fair.
respond to that. I guess she'll try and fake a laugh, but I think it's not very deceptive.
But that's like just in the long run, we're all dead kind of thing. It's not an aggressive statement. It's just
No, it's like a in Fimbulwinter, the giants will survive, everyone else will die, kind of thing.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, I don't know how familiar you are with like Jehovah's Witnesses. How there's this idea that what's happening here in this life doesn't really matter. You just need to, because the real thing is coming later after the apocalypse. like you'll plan for things to happen when Fimbulwinter arrives in this tribe, and you can put something off. You could be like, oh, I'm not going to get married until Fimbulwinter, and people will live their whole lives with that belief. But yeah, that is the sort of sentiment you get, that it's a religious kind of impending apocalypse that will happen, and they will try to make happen. But it is such a common idea that it's, you know, it's just like a phrase that everyone will use.
Okay.
completely weird belief. It's not at all as rational as when we die, we go to Valhalla, final battle of
Well, I mean,
Ragnarok.
Fimbulwinter is also part of the, like, you guys would be familiar with Fimbulwinter is the lead up to Ragnarok. Like it's the endless winter, because it ends with Ragnarok, and that's it. like, but you know, there's, with all of that mythology, they seem to be more on the giant side of things. Of like, yeah, Fimbulwinter's going to be great. We're going to bring upon Ragnarok, like, and then none of this shit's going to matter.
Yeah, if anyone wants to, they can roll an insight on Katya.
You can give a deception if you want to see how convincing your laugh is, but I'd say with disadvantage.
Ah, yeah, that's a good idea. It's actually decent.
Yeah, you probably had to fake that laugh many times.
Yeah.
Oh, 25.
We need Gorb or
Yeah,
some actual got skills and insight to do these insight checks. This is not Svenya's thing.
Drummond can tell that Katya, although she outwardly might seem to be going along with the joke, she doesn't like deep in her eyes, in her soul, she's not excited for Fimbulwinter. It's you kind of see like a look of dread flash over her eyes.
Katya is an atheist heretic. Yay!
The gist of it is that she wants to stop Fimbulwinter, which is the opposite of what her tribe wants to do, but she loves her tribe. So it's yeah. It's an interesting secret mission.
Yeah, anyone who wants to give a religion or a history check to see if you know about if you know that about the half Jotun people, like that there are groups of them that want to bring about Fimbulwinter, you can. So yeah,
Yes.
Camilla, your particular sort of hatred towards the giants, you've definitely come across the names of these kinds of groups before, and you would know that there is a group that calls themselves Odds Oath that are committed to bringing about Fimbulwinter. Like that's their entire goal, and it's made up of mostly giants and half giants. And yeah, as you overhear this, it definitely sounds like these people are with that sort of cult. But yeah, Yormund, you notice that Katya is faking that laugh for sure.
Yeah, on that note, she'll get up and say, "Well, anyways, we must be going to Gift X. Yes, thank you for the chat and cheese, and I will see you later."
Yes, good. Sounds good. Hjalmar came up with new drinking game we're going to try later. You join us, yes?
Oh, I do like drinking. I bring drinking buddy, and she points at Drummond. We had. He can drink lots. He's good. He must join as well.
Yeah, Yorman gets slightly flustered, being in between like giant.
They all turn and
fucking-
look at you.
And I'll just say, in giant for a human.
So he even speaks like us.
Ah, here's the one with the big wolf.
Yes, yes.
Well, perhaps if you can tame a beast like that, maybe you can tame the bottle as well. We will see tonight.
So I think I'm starting to get the sense of this culture. She'll just mention, yeah, the last time they drank together, your teeth to Katya. We don't ask questions.
We do not remember. I just somehow have teeth in morning. But my head sore it is very good.
Wonder if we'll ever know what happened that night.
It's fine. Some things
Is-
in life are better left unknown. Yes.
Real things you should have asked the seer. But yeah, they'll all be very excited to see if they can put Jorman through his paces in drinking games later on. But yeah, Nicholas will be looking around for the biggest tent to try and figure out where the chieftain is.
Yeah, Katya will get up and go to where the chieftain is, which I'm assuming is this big hut.
Yeah, it's actually on a different map that I didn't finish, so we'll just stay
Okay.
on this map for now.
There we go.
But
Please.
I can yeah, actually, we'll say, yeah, sure, it's in that one, but it's much bigger than it looks on the map. Actually, all of these tents probably are because I only just noticed the scale.
Yeah,
It's like one tent per Goliath. They just curl up in the fetal position.
yeah, one Goliath
egg.
per.
But no, hey, maybe they're bigger on the inside. Yeah, we'll say that I'll have a map next week, so they that's why I don't want to just change things here. But you do manage to find a big round, like domed tent that has got two Goliaths standing outside it who give you no problems as they see you leading everyone in, Katya. But is everyone joining her there, or are you going to try and do something else around the giant camp?
Svenja is definitely going into the tent.
To the tent.
Jormund doesn't need to go inside. He'll just stand around.
Yeoman, you can give me a perception check as you're standing out there with some of the Goliath guys.
9.
9!
Yeah, you stand out there and watch the way some of these half giant folk act, and it's probably quite interesting to you. You know, your fascination with giants is your curiosity is piqued, seeing how they operate, and also being a nomadic people. There's some things that you aren't quite used to, but yeah, nothing all that strange. You just watch the culture unfold. Where did I... As you, I'm gonna get a better tone. As you guys enter the thing. Sorry, I hadn't actually put that token down yet, and seeing it big now, just it's a deer than I was expecting. But you will see this massive creature inside as you walk into the tent that is sitting on the ground and just sort of legs crossed. It looks quite calm and almost serene, but has got long tusks coming out, similar to the trolls that you've faced before, and is much bigger than the other Goliaths. This this is clearly the chieftain, but it takes up most of this tent, as it is just sitting there quite comfortably, and all of you can fill the room, as this is a huge giant sitting here. Sorry, checking my notes and talking at the same time is always a bad idea. But you will recognize Chief Valthiof. Why has it changed? Now it should show. Sorry, have I lost you guys? This is just
No.
uh, so yeah. Sorry, as you walk in, Yal Nicholas will be walking in with you, as like sort of quietly trying to take up his own position in the room as everyone filters in there. But you will see the chieftain that has got these intricate tribal tattoos and a strong presence as he sits cross-legged on this what looks kind of throne like, but just made up of furs that are made from mammoths, um, that fill this whole side of the tent. He's just sitting in this like cushioned bed of mammoth fur, and he watches you with a steady gaze as you walk in, as Jan Nicholas goes and prepares to sort of initiate the conversation, but is hoping for an introduction and perhaps some diplomatic assistance in this endeavor. So feel free to jump in. So are you
Out
going
of
to?
character, he looks really creepy.
Yeah, he's pretty creepy.
Looks like an Oni.
I mean, the token is to anyone in Kiga. It's not dissimilar. Katya, are you going to introduce yourself, or introduce the group? Or are you going to just wait for them to start hashing it out?
These are my new friends. There's Fenya and Drinking Buddy. This dude was good with hammer. That one has one eye, and then we have the leader of this town. Yes, they are all right. They've come to give gifts.
At this point, young Nicholas will step in and introduce himself and say, "It is a great honor to meet you, Chief. We are sorry about the altercation that broke out between our people. We were not aware that you had been invited as guests. But please allow me to offer you a gift as a humble apology and an offering of peace between our peoples. And he's going to approach with the axe. And he will. I realize I just paused like he was going to swing it at him, but he will present the great axe to the chieftain, and he will start to explain its history and significance in Braudovik's raids of the past. As you see these beautiful ornate engravings that the chieftain does seem to take interest in once he presents it to him, and seems interested but hasn't really said much. Yeah, what? Sorry, let me just check my notes. Okay, yeah, so he's going to sort of take that gift and say, "This is a very nice gift, I think. Our tribe has not had a history of dealing with your kind in this manner, but we are thinking we might like to stay for a while. Is that going to be a problem for Brodovik?" Vikal will look a little bit nervous and look over to the rest of you, like unsure about whether or not that is the plan. Like, did you guys actually tell him that you'd invited them to stay, or what was the intention there? What sort of looks is he getting on their faces? Blank stares
Katya is just like standing by the door. Well, not the door, like the entrance. She's just observing. She's not one of the diplomatic negotiating kind of people. Yeah. Also, Dad, if you're saying something, you're on mute.
Just observing.
Jarl Niklas will then continue on to say, oh wait, yeah. So as the chieftain expresses his gratitude, he will accept the great axe, and it seems like he's accepted the gifts that have been offered. But then Jan Niklas will continue and say, well, if we are to breed peace between the tribes, then I think it is only right to make up for the earlier incident. We can talk about the length of your stay later on, of course, but we are going to have a feast tonight. I hope you would join us. It would mean a lot to everyone here, I'm sure. And it just so happens we heard that your Katya here has completed her coming of age ceremony. Tonight will be a similar sort of thing for ours as well. I hope you can join us for the celebrations. NPCs talking to each other. Love it when this happens.
So there's no need to translate or anything like that, right?
I mean, the chieftain would only speak giant, and I don't think he's actually said anything yet. So that may be a part of the problem. If
Okay, so
does
Svenja would
someone want to try?
translate.
Okay.
To giant.
So yeah, you would be acting then as the sort of translator there. I suppose between you and Katya, it would be
Yep.
fairly easy to do, but the chieftain you would hear respond to that as Jarl Niklas would be looking to you for the translation from him as well. And you would hear him say, "As the snow melts and the rivers flow, the time has come for you to claim your place among us. Perhaps the gods have deemed you worthy, and the trials you have faced prove your strength. We will join you with these celebrations."
So this is a bit of a surprise to Svenja, but she will translate back to the Jarl saying he accepts, and I hope we have enough food. What what do Goliaths or half giants eat at feasts? Mammoth cheese.
Mammoth cheese, mammoth milk, mammoth meat.
I'm going to leave that.
Usually quite a
Gorm
mammoth-based diet.
Gorm is going to have to. That's his problem. He will do his thing.
The chieftain will offer to add to the feast and to supply some mammoth ingredients to make sure that it's a proper feast.
Okay, and presumably we won't all fit into the longhouse, so we should, I'm guessing, under the tree or near the tree. I'm like picturing fire pits and stuff outside.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go back and prepare some of that stuff, you definitely can. But yeah, I think that sounds like the idea to have a big old feast and a big party back in Bradovik. As yeah, we can. I'm not going to role play their entire interaction, as they will have a discussion between them about, like what they can offer each other, what they can trade, and it's not just like, hey, sorry, here's an axe, come, we're friends now. They would have an actual conversation, which results in them eventually getting to the end there, where they are going to join you for a coming of age celebration. Jarl Niklas has said, which this is the first you're hearing of that, but Niklas seems to be implying that you guys are supposed to be getting your arm rings, and no one's told you about that either. So as they agree to come over tonight, you guys have essentially, for now, managed to negotiate the diplomatic relations by getting Niklas to bring an axe. Had it not been something like that, that may not have gone over so well. But tonight there is a big party, and you guys are free to leave the tent and head back to Bradovik whenever you're ready. But if there's anything you want to do in the giant camp, or take care of here, speak with the chieftain about, let me know now.
So Svenja would ask Katja if they have like a storyteller or when they have feasts and parties and just evenings around the campfire, if there's someone who specifically does performances, like singing songs or chants or telling stories.
Is that?
So she
Yeah,
hasn't.
you would know. You would have heard, like when the Goliaths left, you would have heard Hjalmar was the one shouting out the poems, and he would the one to talk to usually.
Okay.
Yeah. She'll relay that information.
So she would want to have a chat with Hjalmar to see if there's something that they can do together as part of the feast, like a impromptu joint act or something like that. So like a little bit of a entertainment. What are we doing tonight? And no doubt what Svenja is planning to do will be weird to the vice versa, but hey.
Well, Katja, you would also remember that they just told you Hjalmar was the one who just came up with a new drinking game that they wanted to try out tonight. So yeah, he's definitely up for making plans like that.
But she wants to play the drinking game tonight. Can't Svenja do this another time?
Yeah, we can do poetry and drinking games. Both can be true.
Yes, but if you do poetry and drinking games, then Hjalmar gets sad, and then he just say poems about his lost love. It
Okay,
was
first then drinking.
yes, it's a good idea.
And maybe wrestling.
Oh, I do like wrestling. It's
Hmm.
nice.
And what else do Vikings like to do? Basically, drinking and fighting sounds like a.
Yeah, I've got some things prepared that we could, like some mechanics for some games you could play like that.
Feeling like Cacophonics in the Obelix Asterix comics like that. He wants to perform songs and he gets tied to a tree and everybody else fights and drinks.
Yeah, except they actually like your performances usually. No one's tied you to any trees yet. The other bard in town, Codrum, that may be why he's called Codrum the Unlucky, though. He's not quite as popular as you are.
Oh yes, that's as an aside. When he was talking about the, just gently whisper in his ear as she passes, "Those were the guys that you ran away from." Correct.
Sorry, to who?
Find the mammoth quest was actually something that he initially. They saw these mammoth hunter Goliaths and ran away from them. So, if my data is correct, this is the tribe that they ran away from.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. that may be part of why he was trying to harm one of them. But yeah, he just like give a sort of annoyed look and like a shrug, like, yeah, I know. What the fuck are they doing here?
Oh, they came looking for you. They're hungry.
Well, they won't get me again. They
Yeah,
tried.
maturity is not reaching all of the corners of Svenja's personality just yet.
just realized you've got a Hjalmar as well, who's also one of the village idiots. I know. Hjalmar's not the village. There's got to be
So,
some crossovers with names. But he's one of the twins in Magnus's group. So yeah, are we heading back to Braudevik then to prepare for the feast?
Yes.
but he wants to get drunk though.
I mean, that's how you prepare for this particular feast: is you put a glass of water and a bucket for vomit and paintball next to your bed.
Oh, so the feast hasn't started. Right.
Not yet. We're preparing for it.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay.
yeah, I mean they have been preparing also while you were going to the camp. So by the time you come back, a lot of it has been prepared, but you do have to now tell them that you may have to share with them those ideas of moving things outside because you've got some large guests coming.
Also to bring the vodka. Because just all Goliaths love vodka.
That's Vidania.
So, are there any preparations you guys would like to make before the feast?
I don't know. Does Mikkel have an alchemy jug? Make more vodka.
Sadly, I do not specialize in alchemy. I specialize in weaponsmithing. That is a no.
No. No worries. So, how much vodka versus ale versus stuff does a Viking village typically have? Enough.
Yeah, well, guess you'll see at the end of the night, but there's definitely plenty of booze to go around. Vodka itself, yeah, on a giant appetite, you are likely to run out before the end of the night. But I don't know, unless you've got some magical means of, or maybe non-magical means of getting vodka. It might not last all night, but there's mead for days.
Yeah, so I think this is where the concept of a depth charge gets invented. A mug of ale with a vodka chaser.
Is that a depth charge?
Yeah, I think that's one of the names for it. I don't know what it was. Where you put the
That's a good name.
shooter inside of the beer mug. Don't know if it's vodka. Now I'm. My God, this is decades ago.
I mean, it's very fitting. Better name than just Jaeger bomb. Actually makes sense. Yeah, maybe so. As by the time you get back, you will start to smell a delicious meal that Gorman, the butcher, have been cooking up, and most of the town has come to sort of help with that and to attend this feast. You will also notice that a couple of your parents are. You will see them talking to the Jarl's wife. It seems like they are discussing your coming of age rituals, kind of the armbands most likely, but yeah, none of them have spoken to you directly about that.
So, Svenja would like to pull her mother off to the side and say to her, the armband essentially means fealty to the Jarl, so the Jarl gets to tell us what to do. How does this fit with her duties as a Valkyrie? how does she deal with sometimes she has to do things that goes against the instructions of the Jarl?
If the Jarl is giving you instructions that go against the will of the gods, then it is our job to make sure that the Jarl sees the error in his ways and convince him otherwise. Jarl Niklas is a good man. He generally makes the right decisions, but sometimes we all need some guidance to find the right path, and that is part of our responsibility.
Yeah, because with recent developments, she's not entirely keen to make various bits and pieces of oaths that she's quite sure she can keep.
Yeah, the armoring is more like a citizenship, and it's like an acceptance as a member of Braudavik more than it is swearing. I mean, it is swearing an oath, but you're swearing it to the gods more than you are to Niklas.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I may also be thinking of the wrong movie.
I mean, I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong on the mythology, but way that I've seen it here is that it is a commitment to Braudavik to prove more that you are from Mordia, though, than from Braudavik specifically. Like only Mordians wear armorings, but they might vary between the three different like major regions. But other than that, it's like just to prove that you're capable of going raiding.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm checking the references. It's basically a sign of wealth, loyalty, love, family, tribe, manhood, and skill at battle. So, yep.
Okay. I'm sure I did look it up at some point. Just the amount of Norse lore that is jumping around into things in my head. But yeah, there is usually a bit more of a procession to it. But the fact that Gorm's ship is nearly finished is a good indicator. If you're about to start going on raids, you need to have an armband. Like you need an arm ring. Otherwise, that's like sending children out into battle. What iron are you talking about?
Oh, it's just a Hollow has an iron in his bedroom in real life.
You mentioned hollow and iron in the same sentence. I'm assuming you're talking about blacksmithing.
Oh, I can work that. I'll
I
use it as
know.
or
Shut up.
Because I was going to say, did you know that the Vikings invented what's it called, carbonizing iron or steel?
yeah, they put
They-
bones into iron.
Yeah, completely unintentionally created a way to make stronger metal because they thought that they were putting like we discussed, I think actually when you were. That's why they wanted to put bones into the shield, but it actually works.
Hey, if it works, it works.
I mean, maybe. Hey, who knows? Maybe it is because of the spirit of the bones. Maybe the bones of more powerful warriors actually work better. But Okay, so we're going to cut to the feast that night, or um,
Yep, I'm ready.
I feel like most of the party is very quiet. I'm sorry, is there not? Like, I mean, you guys have got to let me know if you want to. If there's stuff that you want to do. I feel like I'm guiding the narrative a lot, but remember, it is still D&D. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Just say.
Jormund, wrestle now. Come. I do not want to wait. We wrestle now and then later. Again.
Mud wrestling.
Or ride in the longhouse.
Are we in the longhouse right now?
We've headed back there, but they are now setting up outside, as you've told them. The Goliaths will be coming. It looks like they're setting up for a big feast, a nice big party, because also it's not snowing, so you can actually hang out outside at night. They've actually probably part of that, they would even set up a little ring for some wrestling, and yeah, it always ends up that way, so might as well have a ring.
Is the ring up yet? Because I feel like it would be a bit like out of character. It would be it might stoke conflict if you randomly see a giant and one of the Vikings wrestling one another. Like they could have thought that we got into a fight, and yeah.
Well, maybe you guys are the ones that set up the ring to avoid that. Like, okay, look, bar fights happen in there.
Actually, that's a good idea. We make wrestling ring. Yes.
Could just grab some stakes and just make a circle with them.
Oh, you use sticks? We just draw on ground with coal. That's so fancy.
Fair enough.
Wrestling is more fun if there's the sound of breaking. Like bar fight's not a bar fight unless there are tables being broken.
Honestly, that makes sense.
I love Katya's, oh, wooden stick, so fancy.
Yes, wood on sticks. You do not just be like, okay, if you go out of this circle that we drew with Ash, then you're out. It's interesting. We should I should tell the chief about this. We can have more breaking sounds. It's gonna be very therapeutic.
Wondering if we should run a small betting circle. So, like, there's two things you can bet. The one is whether Katya will win or lose, and the other one is how many rounds you before Katya wins. So you can choose which bet you want to take.
Honestly, don't count me out of the fight just yet. I have tricks up my sleeve.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you guys can make a for this one. You can just give a contested athletics. And, I mean, if you want to add any bonuses or whatever to that, magically you can say so. But for this, there may be more actual games and bets and things to make at the actual feast. But for this first one, you can just make it a contested check.
Yes, we must just check that this ring it works. Oh fuck. You know, she's gonna rage.
I rolled a nat 1 and a 19. Okay, 23. For athletics.
She's gonna rage to get advantage on the strength check.
Oh, fuck.
19.
The only edge I had.
So we see that, like, as you guys start, Katya immediately starts to overpower Yormund, but Yormund then activates that giant's might and grows to make it a fair fight, grows to match your size, and just pushes you back as you guys are just. It seems almost evenly matched, but just at the end, Yormund, what do you do to actually gain the upper hand and finish the little wrestling match?
Yeah, Yorman just sort of like lunges forward, trying to knock off balance, and in that sort of like break, just grabs the leg and just pulls up, trying to take away her footing.
Yeah, you see her too angry to actually just take down. So sweep that, and with that, Katya, you have, to your surprise, been bested in one-on-one combat, at least for now.
She looks very confused.
Wanna try again?
Yes. Six. She has a +8.
19.
Yeah, she loses again.
Yeah, you want to describe what that looks like? Oh, 'cause I'm putting some tokens down.
Just another sort of like wrestling and
You know, almost
Yeah, Yorman.
picture. Yeah, sorry, go Yormund.
Well, I mean, I don't want to dictate entirely, so Kaja, how you sort of go into this?
Well, what kind of attack is he launching?
Yormid is going pretty much just for grappling and just trying to pin you down to the ground.
You do so effectively?
Like picturing Shepard sitting next to this ring, and because of his size, his head is like slightly above Svenja's head, and she's like feeding him a piece of dried meat while she's chewing on the other half of it, whilst they're watching this with amazement.
Yeah, you pretty much are on top of her, pinning her to the ground, and she looks pissed off. Again!
Alright. This time, Yormid will let you initiate the fight.
What do you mean?
Like, he's just gonna stand there, like, arms open, like, come at me.
You're not gonna roll an athletics check?
23.
Yeah, she'll, lunge at him. I guess, aiming to kind of, like,
Rugby tackles.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so as Katya lunges in again, trying to spear tackle you, you just stuff that takedown, and it seems like your training has definitely paid off. And Katya, you notice that Yormund is a much more capable fighter than you realized. There is definitely much to learn here, uh, but also much revenge to be had in future sparring matches. As you now see, it is getting a bit later. The sun is starting to dip, um, and people are starting to arrive at the longhouse. As the party is slowly coming together. As you see some of the Goliaths arriving as well, and this time a lot less aggressive and looking around the town, discussing it amongst themselves like tourists.
Right. Do we want to start drinking?
Yes. Katya still looks pissed off, little red in the face.
Who knows? Maybe you lose to him in drinking also.
There'll be plenty more trials. Don't worry.
I did not know you were so strong.
Some of your blood apparently runs through me.
That is interesting.
Imagine there is a moment of like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. In no way a human could have done that,
Yes.
but he's giant. But
Yeah, it. That's how you grow big. Let me just come to the side. Is interesting.
I could teach you one day how to use the runes.
I think that sounds interesting too. What are these runes that you speak of?
Yorman just sort of like flashes his smith's tools with the like fire rune markings all over them, and like these, but maybe for another time.
I mean, from Katya's perspective, it's like it's just a thing with fire written all over it. It's like, like they're giant runes, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's
It's
probably
just-
something that you're not that unfamiliar with. Like it to use them magically is obviously that's still impressive, but it's like you've definitely seen giant runes being used as magic before, and yeah, not something you're used to seeing a human being able to do.
this is giant magic. It says fire.
Right. Yeah, because I'll be
I
honest.
am giant. I
Yeah.
speak and read giant.
I
Yes.
kind of forgot. Let's have a drink.
I kind of forgot looking up, like, how tall did we make her? Looking up at this 8'3" woman.
To be
Yeah, I
fair,
kind of just forgot you were a giant.
at the moment, Yormund is also equally as tall.
There. You could pass as Goliath.
Maybe for just a minute.
For just a minute, yes.
If I ever need a full minute just to sneak by some giants, I'll know what to do.
Well, your skin isn't exactly right color.
I
Is
walked into
very
paint.
human, like.
I walked into human paint.
Is that a thing? Human paint?
Sure.
Huh.
And Yeoman's gonna roll a deception.
So I could look like very big human.
Human paint is what's left over after Giant has met with him.
I'll roll an insight on that.
Yeah, but 19 to beat.
It's a 15. Could I pass as very big human? Or am I too tall?
I'm sure there's been people that tall before, humans, but maybe people would expect you to be of legend.
I must try this human paint. Bring me some. I will be human for this ceremony, and you shall be the giant. We swap places. No one will ever know. It will be fantastic. And now, Drummond is probably thinking, "What the fuck have I gotten myself into by saying human paint?"
Well, is there anyone sort of like around that would be quote unquote inferior, like someone I could give a command to fetch me something?
Just yes, fetch me some human paint.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of those kids running around, and yeah, not not really. You're generally the one that would,
Fair enough.
like, your parents would ask you. You would know that your dad sells some like fake moustaches and things. Like, I don't know. It's self-disguised kids.
Honestly, like that's the type of thing that Katya would like put on and be like, "I am a completely different person," you know.
But yeah, I mean, he would sell disguise kits, which literally can have all of that kind of like makeup and stuff in it. But yeah, I do imagine he sells some like gag fake glasses with a nose or something. That I'm sure he finds that hilarious.
I just kind of wanted to have a fucking I'll find it. Just a scene from Game of Thrones. Find the breastplate stretcher.
I mean, who knows? Shepard's pretty smart, maybe. Or maybe that's why Yormund is like happy to have a pet. It's just like, finally someone I can order around and just say fetch. Doesn't always bring me what I actually want, usually what he wants, but
Honestly, I'd really love to know what Shepard would bring if he said bring human paint.
You know what? Shepard, fetch me some human paint, would you? And as long as he just goes, as long as he goes running somewhere, I'll take it. 15.
Shepard lets out a small howl and then just runs off and yeah, he runs across the bridge and into the forest just outside of town. And a few minutes later, you hear screaming from a distance. It's probably fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm expecting him to come back and Katya will just go, "That is not human paint. That's just blood."
Well, how do you know what human paint is? You've never
Well, it's supposed to make me look like a human. Humans are not red.
not necessarily like a human, but it could be from a human.
He's useless.
Well, you asked.
Yeah. She looks thoroughly disappointed. She was looking forward to pretending to be a human and seeing if people could pick up. She was gonna go around and be like, "Well, do I look like human? Yes? No. You have to say yes. Ah, yes. Yeah.
So
like,
that's
Do you know
elevation.
who I am? No. I am human Katya. Yes. Yeah. Now she's sad.
I wonder if Svenja would have some stage makeup that she could use to make Katja look human-ish.
She wants to prank her tribe members.
Yeah, I mean that's literally a disguise kit if you've got something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Disguise kit and so hang on, did you say Yorman is about Katja's size?
At the moment, with giant mice.
Oh, okay. So we can't put Katja in Yorman's plate mail armor.
I think you're actually bigger than Katya when you in giant's might size.
Really?
You're-
Well, yeah,
Because
you-
technically.
large.
'Cause I'd imagine it's either as high or just taller.
I think because a large creature is like 10 foot, so
Oh,
so you do you get even bigger than that's probably why you were able to beat her in that wrestling match. But also Katya, you will notice, is small compared to the other Goliaths. So honestly, Katya probably thinks she's as big as the rest of them. But yeah, mechanically speaking, you probably get to like 12 feet. I don't know how tall you are normally.
just like a good 6'2". I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So I think it doubles your size.
Ah. Nice.
But I imagine you can also control that a little bit if you just if you wanted to go to eye level. That's where you'd be.
Mm. 8'2", 16 feet tall. That's pretty good.
Shepard
Yeah,
would
that's Goliath sized for sure.
Shepard would return a few minutes later with something in his mouth. And as he approaches, you'll see him excitedly run in, and it is a severed arm that is covered in tattoos, much like the Goliaths are, but it looks
Oh, fuck.
possibly too small to be a Goliath's hand. But yeah, it is heavily tattooed, like the whole arm is tattooed like a sleeve, but it is currently not attached to a body.
Is it freshly severed?
Yes, still dripping with blood. Yeah.
Honestly, if it was me, tattoos are expensive. Okay, like a full sleeve of tattoos. Like, goodness, that poor person.
Svenja is just going to pretend that she's never seen this dog before.
Is that supposed to be human paint?
Well, a wolf can only understand common so much.
Ah. Well, you should tell him to go give it back. It's not nice to steal people's arms. Unless you murder them.
You don't know if he stole it. Maybe it was an offering. How often do you see a horse-sized wolf?
Not every day.
And at that rate, if a horse-sized wolf came along and decided to take your arm, who are you to deny it?
I'm Katya, and I will deny it. This is my arm.
Well, we now have someone's arm. They didn't deny it.
Well, yes, but what do you want to do with arm now?
Your woman just like pauses and looks down at it.
It's technically your arm now. Your dog brought it back. It's now in your possession.
Shepard growls happily.
I'll just
Oh
rub
my
it
God.
behind
Do
the
we
ear, like,
recognize the tattoos, the sleeve, by any chance?
You can make a history check.
Turns out it's like the chief's daughter's arm, and
oh dear.
22.
Okay, damn. So Svenja, you being the bard and knowing your way around the skaldic tales and things, you know that you see the tattoos, and obviously there's no way of knowing instantly like whose arm it is unless you'd seen the exact tattoos. But what you do recognize about these tattoos is the style, that they are very intricately done, and there are not many people that can do tattoos like that. But you know of quite a famous tattoo artist that has come into Broadvik before, who you've probably seen briefly, and has come to do tattoos for some of the people that live here. As yeah, tattoos are also quite a big thing, but he does magical tattoos as well. And you'll notice that those, you remember seeing tattoos like that done by him and on his arms, having the full sleeve like that, with similar designs.
So she would, I guess, take the arm and ask, is he in town? Shepard, where did you find this? Take me to where you found this. And someone go fetch Gorm's mother. We must probably put the arm back while we can.
You can give an animal handling or a survival to try and get Shepard to take you back to his victim.
I'll help by telling Shepard to just give me in the command return the arm.
Yeah. Shepard is not happy with Svenja trying to take his toy away. Maybe Jormund does.
Yeah, Jormund, you can also give an animal handling check, as the Shepherd will look a bit confused. You've never asked.
14.
It's like he'll pick the arm back up slowly, like try and take it again, and seems very confused. Like you usually don't ask him to take people's balls back when give them back after he's mauled them, but with Svenja also trying to get him to take her there, it will start heading back off into the forest in the direction that came from, and sort of towards the outskirts of town. Who's following with him?
Yeah, definitely Svenja, but she's still in her sort of town dress, I guess so. Let's hope we don't run into anything where we.
Yeah, Jormund will go as well, just out of interest of who lost that arm.
Okay, as the two of you and Shepard head out of town to try and find whoever's arm has been severed. Katya, you will
Katya also wants to go with.
well, as they're leaving, you'll see Hjalmar will arrive and see you and sort of wave, and you see he's got a bunch of things that he's carrying. He's got barrels with him. He's got like he looks like that one friend that brought every board game they own over to the party because they thought they were going to play them all. This guy's equipped and ready for drinking games. As he kind of starts calling you, Katya, please help me here. Where are they going? As he sees them running off with the wolf.
Can she just catch Jorman and pull him towards the drinking game?
So you're trying to do what?
Like catch up to him and be like, no, it's time for the drinking game.
Okay, so you're not going after Jormund and Svenja. You're going to Hjalmar.
No, she'll say no. I cannot play without drinking buddy. I will go get him and then we play.
Okay, hurry back.
Yes.
So
yes.
Katya runs off after them. Camilla, are you joining them or are you staying at the party?
I heard a drinking game, so I'm just gonna go over to him and enjoy this. Like, I see no reason why we can't start.
Ah, good. Thank you. You can help me set up. And he'll start unfurling a bunch of these games that seem to be of his own creation, but some of them you will recognize as just, I mean, like he's got a log with him that he intends to. He's like, no, this is very important piece of game. This is Mjolnir, and yeah, he's clearly got an imagination to him, this guy. But he will start setting up near the well. And Thornhill will also come in and help you as you guys start setting up these games. Mikil, are you going to join them or are you heading out into the forest? What do you
It would sound pretty fun to find out whose arm it is, so I'm gonna join the search for that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it can't have been that far away. Shepard wasn't gone very long. So you guys start heading out over the bridge. But Camilla, I will ask you to please make a sleight of hand check for me as to help him start setting these up. As you see, he has got a range of games that he's setting up here, and he starts telling you about what all of them are. And I mean, he goes through the regular things like axe throwing and archery and wrestling and things that you would be used to, but he would have a few things that he claims to be his own invention. He calls one of them the Skaldic Showdown. He calls one of them runestone riddles. There's a shield carving challenge. There is a Mjolnir's hammer toss, which is what he is referring to with the log. A Stein stacking challenge where an ale barrel lift, and he's got a bunch of hammer themed things. And the Skulls challenge is the one that he's very excited for. But you see, he's got a bunch of these barrels are just to be like used as tables, and then he's carved runes with different rule sets in them. But he's asking you to help set all of this up. What did you roll?
19.
Okay, yeah. So you absolutely you make it look amazing. Is there anything that you want to set up in particular, or any sort of extra stuff you want to add to this?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So then we'll go to the others outside as they're setting up the drinking challenges and the party is getting underway back at the longhouse. You guys head over the bridge. Why do I keep losing the thing? Yeah, I'll ask survival checks from everyone to try and see any traces of someone missing an arm as Shepard leads you back, and you imagine you are getting to the area. They must
King,
be nearby.
finally. 27. Don't know why I couldn't get that in my bracelet.
Well, this is more of your forte as you now go out there and Shepard runs to where he got the arm from. As the rest of you will notice, there is no body there. Like it doesn't seem like the owner of the arm is nearby. But Katya, you will notice some blood smeared on a tree nearby, and you'll notice a trail that you can start to follow into the forest. That seems to just lead a little ways into the forest, but there is a lot of blood as you are going.
So she'll point and say, that way.
Okay, we'll go that way.
Although I think they might be dead already.
Well, then, free body.
So now, I guess Svenya's wanting to take another better look at the arm. Does it look like it's been bitten off by or torn off by Shepard, or does it look like it's been cut off with like an axe or something?
Give me a medicine or investigation check to try and figure that out. Yeah, there's definitely bite marks from Shepard, but whether they were
26.
okay, it definitely looks like Shepard ripped this thing's arm off, which, given his size, probably like not unreasonable. But it does seem like it would have had to take a serious force, and it was torn off. It might not have been Shepard. It looks similar to the bodies that you saw killed by the troll. It looks like
Okay.
it may have just been ripped off with great strength.
Because I think this is what she's worried about, is that Shepard did this, but shall we follow the trail and go see if we can find the armless person? One-armed bandit.
As you guys keep heading on, you can give me one more perception check this time. You want to try and find them as you are following the trail of blood. Katya's got that down, but sure, Shepard can also do some sniffing.
Is it gonna roll dice? No, okay. 19 for Shepard.
Okay. So as Shepard and Katya both follow this trail like consummate hunters. You follow this blood trail to a pool of blood that is just like in a dense little part of the forest, and you see that all of these little blood spatters and things lead to this pool it seems like a lot of blood here. No body though.
Where is body?
Maybe something took it. Or just ate it right here.
She'll just shout out, "Hello! Is there anyone missing arm? We have arm over here. If anyone needs one."
As you say that, something falls from above and hits the pool of blood with a crumpling crunch as a dead body hits the ground. You see that its face has been completely torn apart. It is missing an arm. Its other arm is covered in very similar tattoos, but you can see it has been disemboweled and just ripped to shreds. And it falls from the trees above you and just crumples into the ground, like in the middle of your group.
Oh wow, that's some expert murder over there. Even I don't do it that badly.
Yohamin looks up.
And as you look up, you see eyes looking back down at you, long arms with hook-like fingers and claws, bright yellow fur and blue skin. You see it has these spiked ears that's sort of folded over its face, forming a mask. And yeah, it is it's quite a horrific looking creature just sitting up in the trees, a large beast that looks almost like some kind of demented lemur that is up there and covered in blood.
Can I help you?
It jumps at you, and that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Yep.
I feel like this thing next week is gonna give me nightmares.
Shit. And Svenja doesn't have armor and weapons. Fuck, great. Okay, next week we will see what happens with that then.
See, this is why it's great to not need armor.
This is why you just always wear your armor.
That's good.
Okay, that's not as bad as I was expecting. Like, what was in my mind was absolutely fucking terrifying.
Well, it is
Okay.
much worse than that. That is
Okay.
its ears. You see the spikes on its ears. It's folded over its face. So you're just seeing like a sort of devil's mask and just those big eyes out from behind it. So it that picture does make it look a lot cuter than it actually is.
No, I was picturing very elongated, like hugely elongated arms, and yeah, what the picture in my mind is something out of a horror movie.
Yeah, that's why I didn't just show you the picture, because I was like, no. What you're picturing in your mind is what is actually there. That picture doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
Thinking like a
Just fucking like
shortcut.
clinging onto spider webs or something. Like, I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was like spider type of arms, but only the front two are that kind of length, kind of disjointed arms. Just this
Yeah, it's
very
more-
long body. Yeah.
It's more like a bat, but it doesn't have actual wings. Like its arm just extends like it should have more bones attached to it and wings, but it doesn't. It's just got like a clawed, hooked finger at the end. That, yeah, it's pretty unholy. But yeah, we'll see. Have all the mechanics for the drinking games that I thought we would get to, but yes, we'll fight a creature in the forest instead.
Look, we will still play all the drinking games. Okay, I promise.
A good
No,
fight
Or
sorry,
maybe
for
the creature will play the drinking game